Welcome back to Football Tactic Zone, your daily stop for everything football, transfers, tactics, and breaking headlines from across the globe. Today is deadline day, and the football world is buzzing with drama. From Nicholas Jackson refusing to return to Chelsea, to Liverpool pushing hard for Alexander Isak, to Aston Villa's bold move for Lucas Paquetá, the transfer window is ending with fireworks that will also break down Chelsea's 2-0 win over Fulham. Look at Newcastle's frustrating 0-0 draw with Leeds, and explain why Yoane Wissa's shocking public statement could reshape Brentford's season. This isn't just news, it's football through the tactical lens. Let's dive right into today's FTZ Daily. The biggest bombshell on deadline day comes from Germany, where Nicholas Jackson is refusing to return to London after Chelsea suddenly cancelled his loan to Bayern Munich. Here's the backstory. Chelsea had agreed to loan Jackson to Bayern for the season. He was already in Munich, preparing for his medical. But when Liam Delap picked up an injury, Chelsea panicked. Suddenly, they weren't so sure about letting their striker leave. From Chelsea's perspective, this makes sense. Jackson may not have been first choice, but in a long season with injuries and fixture congestion, depth is critical. Jackson offers something unique. He's direct, aggressive and pressing, and can stretch defenses with his movement. Without him, Enzo Maresca will have to rely more heavily on João Pedro and Raheem Sterling to carry the attacking load that if Jackson forces a move and Chelsea don't sign a replacement, their front line becomes dangerously thin. That's a tactical gamble no top 6 team can afford. For Bayern, the frustration is real. They wanted Jackson to provide mobility up front and complement Harry Kane's more traditional center-forward role. Jackson's ability to run the channels would have freed Kane to drop deeper, a tactical blend Bayern were eager to test. Now, with Jackson stranded in Germany, we have a real standoff. A player desperate to leave, a club reluctant to lose him, and two managers forced to rethink their tactical plans. This saga is not just about a lone move. It's about how one striker can reshape two major clubs' tactical outlooks in a single stroke. While Jackson's future is in limbo, another transfer twist could define this window. Alexander Isak to Liverpool. Liverpool have been linked with a massive bid for the Swedish striker, who has been Newcastle's crown jewel since arriving from Real Sociedad. The rumor mill went into overdrive after Newcastle sealed the signing of German forward Nick Woltmade in a club record deal worth around €85 million. Let's unpack what this means. For Newcastle, Woltmade brings raw power, pace, and aerial presence. He's not yet at Isak's level, but tactically he allows Eddie Howe to stick with his 4-3-3 system while adding a striker who thrives in transitions and can hold the ball under pressure. For Liverpool, signing Isak would be a massive statement. Jurgen Klopp's successor has been searching for a striker who can blend pressing intensity with elite finishing. Darwin Núñez has shown flashes, but Isak would be an upgrade in terms of link play and consistency. Imagine Isak at Anfield, feeding off Salah on the right and Luis Diaz on the left. His movement between the lines would give Liverpool another dimension, especially against low blocks where they've struggled. But here's the tactical question. Can Newcastle really afford to lose their most clinical striker when they're pushing for Champions League football again? And can Liverpool gamble on breaking the bank for a forward when they also need midfield reinforcement? This isn't just a transfer rumor. It's a potential power shift in the Premier League. Over to Aston Villa, who have just tested West Ham's resolve with a £47 million bid for Lucas Paquetá. The Brazilian midfielder is West Ham's creative heartbeat, linking midfield to attack with flair and unpredictability. But with Villa chasing Champions League football, they see Paquetá as the missing piece. At Villa, Paquetá would likely slot into Unai Emery's 4-2-3-1, just behind Ollie Watkins. That would give Villa more creativity in the final third and take some of the burden off Moussa Diaby. For West Ham, losing Paquetá would be devastating. He's their connector, the one who turns defense into attack. Without him, they risk becoming overly direct and predictable. This is more than a transfer bid. It's a tactical tug-of-war between two clubs with European ambitions, from tactical battles to pure drama. Yoane Wissa has stunned Brentford fans by releasing a public statement demanding a transfer that he claims the club promised to let him leave if a fair offer came in. Several Premier League sides, including Newcastle, have bid around 40 to 45 million pounds. But Brentford moved the goalposts, now demanding closer to 60 pounds million. Wissa's response: he's refused to train and wiped Brentford from his social media. This is a nightmare for Thomas Frank. Wissa is not just a squad player. He's been key in Brentford's high-pressing system and has carried much of the attacking load with Ivan Toney sidelined. Without him, Brentford risk losing their attacking balance. And if he does leave, finding a replacement this late in the window will be nearly impossible. This isn't just a transfer request, it's a tactical crisis. Chelsea may be scrambling in the transfer market, but on the pitch they delivered. Against Fulham, winning 2-0 in the West London derby, João Pedro opened the scoring, while Enzo Fernandez calmly slotted home a penalty to seal the win. Maresca's Chelsea controlled midfield tempo, with Fernandez dictating play. Defensively, they were organized, limiting Fulham's chances, but the match also highlighted Chelsea's dependence on a clinical forward. Without Jackson, they lacked a consistent outlet to stretch the defense. Against stronger opponents, this gap could prove costly. The win is welcome, but the tactical questions remain. Elsewhere, Newcastle stumbled to a frustrating 0-0 draw with Leeds. They dominated possession, but lacked cutting edge, struggling without Isak and Gordon in the lineup. New signing Wolt Maid watched from the stands, perhaps realizing just how urgently his new club needs him. Newcastle pressed high, but their build-up stalled in the final third. Without a reliable target man, their attacks fizzled out. This match perfectly illustrated why Eddie Howe moved so aggressively for Wolt Maid. He isn't just a signing for depth, he's a tactical necessity. What have we learned from today's deadline day drama? Nicholas Jackson's standoff has forced both Chelsea and Bayern to rethink their plans. Alexander Isak could trigger one of the biggest transfer shocks of the summer, with Liverpool ready to pounce. Aston Villa's chase for Paquetá shows their ambition, and West Ham's dilemma. Yoan Wissa's rebellion proves once again how quickly squad harmony can collapse. And on the pitch, Chelsea's derby win and Newcastle's stalemate remind us that transfers aren't just business, they're tactical lifelines. The transfer window may be closing, but the tactical battles are only just beginning. That's all for today's FTZ Daily. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Which deadline day move do you think will define the season? Until next time, this is Football Tactics Zone, signing off.